Inbound faxing is still one of the biggest workflow challenges in healthcare. Even when the fax is delivered digitally, it is still just an image, so someone still has to open it, figure out what it is, and decide where it needs to go. Maybe it's a prescription, maybe it's a referral, or maybe it's lab results. But it's up to someone to make that determination and then either route it manually or rekey the data into the right system. That triage process takes time. Multiply that across hundreds of faxes a day, and the labor and the cost adds up fast. Worse, the margin for error is high. A delayed or misrouted fax can mean delayed discharges, missing clinical documentation, or breakdowns in pharmacy workflows. This isn't just an inconvenience. It creates risk, slows down care, and pulls staff away from higher value work. Let's talk about what manual fax processing is really costing your organization. At a mid-sized hospital, just one full-time healthcare admin could be costing you about $3,600 every month in labor to process faxes. Multiply that by a full team, and you're quickly looking at tens of thousands in monthly costs. But it's not just about time and wages. Manual data entry into EHRs leads to costly mistakes. In fact, these errors cost the US healthcare system $13.3 billion every year. And there's real risk involved. A misrouted or mishandled fax containing patient information could result in a HIPAA violation, with fines as high as $50,000 per incident. So between the labor, the risk of data entry errors, and the potential for regulatory fines, the cost of manual processing adds up fast. And it's avoidable. This is where intelligent document processing becomes a game changer. It offloads the manual work by automatically identifying what type of document came in, extracting the important information, and routing it where it needs to go. If it's a referral, the system knows it. If it's a prescription with handwritten notes, it captures that too. You don't need to overhaul your fax infrastructure. IDP works with the right fax environment you already have and simply builds intelligence on top of it. Think of it as adding a digital team member who handles inbound fax triage 24/7 without getting tired, making typos, or falling behind. You save hours every day, reduce risk, and let your staff focus on higher value work instead of sorting faxes. Next, let's walk through how intelligent document processing works. Essentially, intelligent document processing streamlines workflows and data entry necessary for received faxes. Using some of the newest technologies, such as machine learning, intelligent character recognition, and artificial intelligence, organizations can leverage the benefits of intelligent document processing for their received faxes. If we follow the slide from left to right, you can see there are 7 individual steps that are performed on a document so it can be accurately classified, extracted, validated, and delivered. Over the next few slides, we'll go over each step. RightFax automatically routes inbound faxes based on direct inward dialing numbers, fax lines, or user-specific rules, directing each document to the right destination. These documents are dropped into folders monitored by the IDP software. Each folder can trigger a specific batch class or workflow to match the type of fax being received. This setup allows different types of documents, such as prescriptions, referrals, or lab results, to be handled appropriately from the moment they arrive. By eliminating manual sorting, organizations streamline intake and reduce delays in getting faxes to the right team or system. Many healthcare documents come in scanned, crooked, or with poor contrast, making automation difficult without pre-processing. The image cleanup step corrects skew, removes noise, rotates pages, and enhances overall readability before any text recognition happens. This process ensures faxes like handwritten referrals or scanned forms are clear and legible, which directly reduces the risk of misreads. Improved image quality leads to better OCR results and smoother downstream processing, minimizing manual review later. WriteFax IDP uses multiple OCR and ICR engines, including Google Cloud Vision, Azure AI Vision, and Amazon Rekognition, to extract all visible text on a page, not just within fixed fields. Handwriting recognition is also used to interpret handwritten notes, especially useful for intake forms, orders, or provider annotations. This dual approach increases accuracy and ensures critical information isn't missed, even if the fax includes mixed formats or freehand writing. Full page recognition means more data is captured with less manual entry, and multiple engines validate the results for better confidence. This OCR-ICR process is nothing like the OCR in the past. It is extremely accurate and works well with both handwriting and script. Once a document is processed and text is extracted, the system determines what kind of document it is using the layout, keywords, and structural patterns. It can recognize a wide range of healthcare documents, including referrals, lab results, prior authorizations, and explanation of benefits, even when the formats vary significantly between senders. Classification uses machine learning to improve accuracy over time and plays a key role in directing documents to the appropriate downstream workflows. Confidence scores are generated for each classification, and organizations can configure workflows to pause or route documents for human review based on those thresholds. Power users can train the system to improve classification accuracy over time, reinforcing the system's ability to handle new or uncommon formats. Classification works in tandem with key-value pair matching to ensure the right data is extracted from the right type of document, maintaining reliability in high-volume healthcare environments. Instead of relying on rigid templates or static field locations, the system uses key-value pair matching to extract information based on contextual cues and label relationships. It accurately identifies data such as patient names, date of service, insurance IDs, diagnostic codes, and more by locating the field labels and matching them to the appropriate values, even across varying document layouts. Advanced extraction logic includes regular expression matching for predictable patterns like dates or member numbers, API calls for real-time data validation, and fuzzy database lookups to match slightly misspelled or inconsistent entries. The result is usable structured data that can be transacted on immediately, allowing it to flow directly into downstream systems like your EHR, ECM, or billing system without rekeying. This adaptive method is particularly effective in healthcare, where forms from different vendors or departments may contain the same data but in completely different formats. Over time, machine learning improves the system's ability to locate and extract fields, even as new form types are introduced or existing ones evolve. The system flags specific data fields for human review when confidence scores fall below set thresholds or when business rules dictate manual oversight. Thresholds can be customized by document type, individual field, or even specific values, ensuring that the review process targets only the most critical areas. Power users can be designated to handle these validations and simultaneously train the system by correcting values, refining logic, and reinforcing patterns. Each correction made during validation contributes to ongoing system learning, improving accuracy in future document processing. This selective review model enables staff to focus only on exceptions or sensitive cases, like insurance numbers on prior authorizations, without slowing down the rest of the workflow. The result is a balanced system that maintains high data integrity while preserving the efficiency benefits of automation. Once validated, the system exports the data into structured formats like CSV, XML, JSON, or HL7 to match the needs of your EHR or other line of business systems. It integrates cleanly into existing ecosystems such as ECMs, ERPs, BPMS platforms, robotic process automation tools, and integration engines. By delivering structured, validated information, the system ensures your downstream workflows run smoothly without rework or delays. This is the final step that turns static documents into usable, actionable data across your organization. I'm now going to turn the presentation over to Jonathan Andrews, our Senior Director here at Advantage and the expert on IDP software. All yours, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, everybody, I'm going to show you how we handle intelligent document processing on faxes here. So on my screen, you'll see a couple of file folders. I'm going to pull up an example fax for us to take a look at. As you can see, this has an Advantage Technologies cover sheet on it. It actually has a bunch of pages. Next is a medical invoice with a whole bunch of line items on it. Page number 3 and 4 is part of our HIPAA privacy authorization. We have an example referral intake form and a handwritten prescription and a driver's license. So we have a whole bunch of files, a whole bunch of documents all in the same file that came in through fax. And I'm going to go ahead and pretend I'm a fax server and drop it into a network folder. This is going to kick off our intelligent document processing process where the file is going to get pulled in, and we're going to start looking at the categorization of this document. So while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the interface. Here you can see I have a couple of other files already in the system ready for us to review. The first thing we're going to do is look at what happens when a document or when a fax gets pulled in, broken apart, and categorized. So I'm going to open this up. You'll see this is the same document we're looking at, just in our intelligent document processing tool. On the left-hand side, you'll see it's broken apart, all those pages in the fax, into different document types. We have our cover sheet here, we have a medical invoice here, we have our privacy authorization, and so on, all the way down. You'll notice that our medical invoice is highlighted as red, whereas all the other ones are white. And this is because the system is not quite sure that this is a medical invoice. I have the confidence level threshold set at 99%, which we never actually achieve, so that we can always stop here and take a look at what it takes to fix a problem should one show up in the categorization step. So all you have to do is, as a user, hit the drop down and choose one of the different document types to assign it to this this file. Now, the system did actually pick medical invoice correctly, so there wasn't really an issue there, but it's a good way to show we could change this to a prescription or to a quote or something like that. And we'll just set it at medical invoice and move it on through. Take a look at the file. We're pretty sure about that. All I have to do is hit the review button, and it'll say this batch is completed. We've already split it into all these different documents, so we can go ahead and proceed. And that's just the way we would solve any issues that may come up in the process of categorizing a document. Now, here we're on to the validation stage. The system has gone through and split all those documents apart. Now it's trying to extract all the data from the actual pages that have been processed through. And you'll see the interface is the same. We still have all the documents down the left-hand side. So quite a few more of them are red with some issues that we have to look at. But let's start at the top. So our fax cover sheet, we're just pulling one piece of data. This is Jeff's name. We're pulling right off of the cover sheet of the fax. As I go down to anywhere I click validate, it's going to take me to the next item that I have to look at. Right now, it's not sure that Calvin Mayfield is actually the name. You can see that Actually, it is Calvin Mayfield, but it's paused here. I have it actually set to force validate on this field so that we could stop and take a look at how the validation stage looks. You can see we have pink fields. Those are items that need to be validated. We have white fields. Those are items that have passed our validation and are above our confidence level for extraction. We have blue fields here. You'll notice that MRN is a blue field here, and I can't actually even type into this field. It's a read-only field. And interestingly enough, this MRN number doesn't exist anywhere on this document. Actually, what we did is we've used the name Calvin Mayfield and looked up in a database what Calvin Mayfield's MRN was. In the real world, we might match 2 or 3 or 4 different pieces of data to be sure that we get the right MRN. But this is an example of using a database to populate the MRN so we can then attach this medical invoice to a patient record downstream. So this is automatically getting looked up behind the scenes from a database based on information on the screen. We can also take a look. You see this is an invoice. So you have all of our different pieces of data. As I click on them, you see they get highlighted on the screen. So we have all these different pieces that we're pulling in. And then if we want to actually see the table data, I can go to the table view and you can see all of the table information stored now as transactional data here on the left-hand side. Now, immunization, just slightly lower than what we would want. Some of those letters are very much scrunched together on here. So we're at 89% out of 90, but I'm going to say immunization is correct. I can hit validate, go back out to our form view, validate Calvin Mayfield, and then you'll notice that the medical invoice has now been validated. We're on to the HIPAA privacy authorization. Again, same idea. We pulled all the information off of here, off of the document. We have a period start date that's not getting highlighted. One of the things I can do is just click on that piece of data on the screen, and it'll automatically load that into the field, so we're ready to move forward. I can validate that document and so on all the way down. Here's an example of a pretty complicated form, lots of fields on the screen, and lots of information being extracted. Be perfect. This is an intake. This is perfect for new patient intake, or if we get a referral or something like that, we can check and make sure all the information is correct. As you can see, provider is Advantage MD. There we go. Provider Advantage MD is the right thing. So I can hit validate and accept that value. And again, we can even handle checkboxes. Just wanted to pause so we can take a look at that. Yep. And we'll move on down. Now I can continue going through this whole document and show you what happens here. We got a handwritten prescription. Does a pretty good job of handwriting recognition. We're actually using Google Vision as the OCR engine for this. The way we usually look at it is if you can read it or I can read it, then the system's going to be able to read it. So it just wanted to check here. It's a little low on this because these letters are overlapping each other. You know, we have a little bit of cursive going on there, but we'll go ahead and push this through. And then let's talk about signatures, right? So it's not actually even reading the signature here. It's actually counting the number of pixels that are filled in this space. And since there's a lot of white space, it's not really sure that there's a signature there, but we can definitely see it is signed. We do have a good signature there, so we can validate that and move it on through. I'm going to go ahead and validate all these documents as we come down, and we'll stop right here at the driver's license. Faxes are very difficult. You can have a lot of speckles and a lot of dark marks on top of the page. So this is a good example of what happens when there's a speckling on the picture. The system did a pretty good job of pulling this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's my driver's license number. I don't know about you, but it did a good job pulling all that information in. We just didn't get the expiration date. I can go ahead and click on this, and you see that it's not really sure about that one. It's right up against this overlay, part of the New York State driver's license, so we can just supplement that, put a 1 in there, and validate, move this through. And with that, I've just validated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 documents and push them through our system. And what happens next? I'm going to pop back out to our instance management here. It's now actually finishing off that document and exporting it to a file. And what kind of file would that be? Let's jump out here and take a look. Go to our output. We have all the different documents sent to their own folders. These are all driver's licenses here. So we can look at these. These are all copies of the same one as it went through. We have our, HIPAA authorization form, for example, or medical invoices. I'm going to go into the batch XML because this is where the magic lies. This is the data that is getting extracted that can be used downstream for any sort of automations that we need. So I'm going to pull it open in a browser so we can take a look at it. And here we are. We have all of the information that was extracted from that multi-document, multi-page fax that came into the system. We have the original name. There's the name of our file that came in. There's my username for who reviewed the document, who validated the document. We have what type of document. So here's our first document. It's the cover sheet. We have the extracted data, which was the from name. If you remember, that was Jeff's name that we pulled right off of the cover sheet. We even know where it was on the page and all the different items that we may need. And if I go down and let you look here, that's document 1. Our second one is our medical invoice. Third one is our HIPAA auth field form. We have our referral intake form with all of its different pieces of data on there extracted, including the confidence level we have on that extraction. We have all the different pieces of data we might need that we can then send these files downstream, maybe through some piece of middleware into an EMR system or into an enterprise content management system for use later by team members. All right. So there you have it. We have a fax that has been delivered into our intelligent document processing data. It's been separated into its separate files and categorized, and then each document has then had different pieces of information extracted from it and delivered to a network folder for processing by another piece of software downstream. And with that, I'll hand it back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jonathan. Let's take a look at a case study we did for Washington State Healthcare Authority. Washington State HCA manages millions of incoming insurance documents each year, serving more than 2 million residents across Medicaid and public employee benefits programs. Prior to automation, they relied heavily on temporary staff to handle manual document prep, indexing, and data entry, essentially outsourcing large volumes of work that could equate to dozens of full-time roles. They evaluated multiple platforms, but ultimately chose IDP to replace Colfax, removing throughput caps, streamlining their indexing workflows, and enabling secure browser-based administration. By eliminating manual indexing and dual entry tasks, they reduced the workload by what would have required multiple FTEs, resulting in a 5-year cost savings of about $4.5 million. If you factor in labor and FTE reductions, the ROI was achieved in just 6 months. Without labor, it was still under 3 years. Document preparation time dropped by 50%, indexing was reduced by 75%, and redundant entries were eliminated altogether. They're now rolling out the platform across 10 to 12 departments with expectations to eliminate an additional 50% of prep time using dual scanning, further reducing dependency on manual labor and freeing up FTE resources for more strategic initiatives. Another case study was a large federal agency. This state agency handles more than 150,000 hearings annually, all tied to public assistance and unemployment decisions. Every case generates document packets that must be processed fast. Before IDP, they had 40 full-time staff indexing incoming faxes manually, a huge drain on time and cost. With IDP, they were able to process more than 2.6 million pages and extract over 11.4 million data fields, which dramatically improves speed and accuracy. Classification accuracy was 92% and OCR accuracy hit 98%. They also cut index validation time by 80%. One key win? They built 22 unique batch classes to automatically route documents by hearing type, removing manual handoffs between departments. They now freed up FTE staff capacity, eliminated backlog, and transformed the way documents move through the agency. Here are some of the results of IDP. First, you're going to boost staff efficiency. You're going to free up knowledge workers by eliminating manual data entry and fax triage. You're going to reduce errors without sacrificing oversight. Apply confidence thresholds to route only uncertain fields for review. You're going to automate document understanding. Instantly identify and classify document types to trigger the right workflows. Capture clean, accurate data. You're going to extract typed and handwritten text with precision using advanced OCR, ICR engines. You're going to deliver to the right system fast. Export in EHR-ready formats like HL7, XML, or JSON for seamless interoperability, and you can scale at your own pace. Add new workflows, departments, or document types without sacrificing. And finally, you're going to scale at your own pace. Add new workflows, departments, or document types without starting from scratch. I think this slide speaks for itself. We have been document experts for almost 30 years. Our US-based certified support team has won multiple awards, and your support through Advantage includes upgrades to the latest version, all software patches, and access to the Advantage support portal. And we offer 24/7, 365 days a year critical support.